Previously, I went over how to use my material function to add a snow on top of objects, but that all happens in the material level. What if we want to have actual snow geometry? Using the snow tool digital asset, we can have that. In this video, I'm gonna go over how to use it. So let's do it. You can get this asset on my Patreon, the link is in the description. So let's add it to the level. It either creates the Houdini engine session automatically, or we can click on Houdini engine up here and click on create a session. After a few seconds we can see that Houdini session is ready and we can use the digital asset. If you wanna know how to install the Houdini engine plugin, watch this step-by-step tutorial. So here it is, this big Houdini logo. Let's go over the parameters. In the details tab, scroll down until you see the Houdini parameters. I'll go over them, but before that we should define the input geometry. Let's scroll down a little to get to the Houdini inputs section. Here's where we should add the objects we want to add a snow on. Click on geometry input and set it to world input so we can select the assets in the level. Then down here click on start selection. Now we can select the objects we want to add a snow on top of from the viewport. So let's select these objects and click on use current. Keep in mind that we can't use this tool on objects that are scattered with the foliage tool. Use it on objects that are hand placed in the level. So click on use current and now it starts processing the meshes to add the snow. Here's the result. Now let's go over the parameters. A spread angle controls where the snow will be added based on the angle of the triangles of the mesh. As we increase this parameter, more of the mesh will be covered by snow. This is how it looks with a spread angle of 15 and this is how it looks with a spread angle of 45. Density controls the number of points scattered on the mesh to create the snow. This asset works by scattering points on the mesh and creating the snow based on those points. We should set it depending on how much snow we want. This is how it looks when density is set to 10. This is with a density of 40. And this is with a density of 100. A smooth iteration controls the smoothness of the snow mesh. If for any reason the mesh doesn't look right, we can use this option to smooth it out. The default value works just fine most of the time. Setting it to a high value like 8 can mess things up, so use it carefully. Let's set it back to 2 and continue. A scale multiplier controls the amount of the snow by scaling the scattered points. For example, if I set it to 2, this is the result, and if I set it to 0.7, this is the result. It can also control the height of the snow. We can use it alongside the density parameter to control how much snow we have. Triangle percent to keep can optimize the mesh. Let's set the view mode to wireframe to better see how it works. So by default it is set to 100, which means it doesn't optimize the mesh. But if for example I set it to 50 and wait a little, this is the result. I want to use nanite, so I keep it at 100. After we're happy with the result, we can use the bake button up here to bake the digital asset into a mesh. So let's click on it. And here it is. Now we have access to it even if the digital asset is hidden or deleted from the scene. We can't edit it though. If we want to edit the mesh, we should tweak the digital asset parameters and bake a new mesh. If I browse the mesh, it's in this directory which is created by Houdini. Now we can convert it to nanite and assign a material to it. Now let's go over the snow material I've provided with this tool. In the materials folder, you can find the snowmaster material. It uses world align nodes, so the mesh it is assigned to doesn't need UVs. Right click, create a material instance, save it and assign it to the snow mesh. Let's open the material and place it here. Enable all the parameters. And first we should assign the textures. So let's go to content, mega scans, surfaces. I've downloaded these two snow materials. I'm gonna use the melting snow material. So let's open it and here it is. Let's assign the textures: base color, normal, and ORDP, which stands for occlusion, roughness, and displacement. Size controls the size of the snow texture. Because of the world align nodes, it's in world space unit. That's why the default value is 100, which is 1 meter. Roughness and normal parameters are self-explanatory. Use displacement is disabled by default. If we enable it, we can see its effect. And these two parameters help us better control the look of the displacement. The last parameters are the subsurface parameters. We can control its amount and its color. The default values are okay most of the time. So let's get back to the materials folder, and here in the functions folder, this is the snow function we can use to add snow on top of objects through their materials. Again, you can get this asset on my Patreon. The link is in the description. So that's it. Click here for more Unreal stuff, and thank you so much for watching. Also, a special thanks to my patrons for making this possible. Like this video, subscribe, and join our communities. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. So, see you in the next one.